there is a veil over your face. It is not made of fabric nor of flesh. It is made of thought and the forgetting of who you truly are. Since you were a child, you were given names: smart, weak, beautiful, sinful, broken, strong. These became your mirrors, and you began to live inside them, not questioning where they came from, not realizing they were never yours to begin with. But you are not the image others see. You are not even the image you carry in your own mind. Ibn Arabi once wrote, "Man is a polished mirror in which the light of the real becomes visible." Yet the ego, the constructed self, clouds that mirror. It reflects not truth, but fragments. You say, "I am this," but what is the I that says it? The ego is clever. It borrows God's language, "I am," and coats it with fear, desire, and pride. But in reality, the only true I belongs to the one who said, "I am closer to you than your jugular vein." And so begins the great unlearning, not becoming something new, but remembering what you always were before you believed the lie. There is a hadith, "He who knows himself knows his Lord." But what is the self that must be known? Ibn Arabi wrote that the true self is a locus of divine manifestation, not a fixed identity, but a reflection of God's names in motion. The ego, he taught, is not evil, but ignorant. It clings to form. It forgets its origin. It thinks it is separate. And that is the first illusion. God is Al-Ahad, the indivisible one. And what is indivisible cannot truly be two. You and the divine are not opposites. You are not two beings negotiating your place. You are a wave in the sea of oneness, a breath within the eternal breath. But the ego fears this. It fears losing itself, not knowing that its disappearance is the door to remembrance. It says, "If I let go, I will vanish." And yet only by vanishing does the soul return to its source. Ibn Arabi called the human being the barzakh, the isthmus, the meeting point between the seen and the unseen. You are not the body alone. You are not the spirit alone. You are the bridge, the mirror. And the work of the path is not to destroy the ego, but to see through it, until the face that remains is not yours, but his. The ego says, "I am," but it is hollow, a shadow that mimics the true light. When you speak from the ego, you speak from separation. You define yourself by what you are not. I am not them. I am not weak. I am not wrong. In contrast, in defense. But the soul, the Ruh, speaks in silence. It doesn't need to prove. It remembers. In the mirror of Ibn Arabi's vision, the ego is a necessary illusion, a scaffold that must one day be removed. Just as a cocoon gives form to the butterfly, the ego holds you until you can unfold. He writes of God as Al-Haq, the truth, who reveals himself through opposites, strength and weakness, beauty and decay, selfhood and selflessness. The ego grasps for one and rejects the other. The soul embraces both because it sees beyond them. The one who truly knows himself does not say, "I am this." He says, "I am only a veil, and behind me there is only God." Identity, then, is not something you wear. It is something you shed, layer by layer, illusion by illusion, until the face in the mirror is no longer your face, but the reflection of the one who has always been seeing through your eyes. Let me tell you a story. A dervish once approached his master with a trembling voice. "Master," he said, "I am lost. I don't know who I am anymore. Everything I thought I was is crumbling." The master simply smiled and replied, "Good. Now we can begin." This is the secret at the heart of the Sufi path. You must lose the self you built to find the one God is revealing, not the identity handed to you by the world, but the self shaped in silence, forged in longing, born in surrender. Ibn Arabi often described the ego as a cloak, necessary to walk through the world, but dangerous to mistake for the body beneath it. He called the true self the abd, the servant, not in humiliation, but in clarity. Because only the one who bows can truly see what stands before him, and what stands before you is not a mirror of ego, but of the real. When the cloak falls, through suffering, through love, through stillness, what is left is something radiant, fragile, perhaps, but alive. And it is then that you begin to see what was always there, not an identity to protect, but a light to reflect. You have spent your life defending something that was never truly yours. The image, the name, the status, the story, each one like a wall around your essence, a fortress built not to protect, but to separate. But the soul longs not for safety, it longs for truth. And truth, as Ibn Arabi taught, is not found in clinging, but in dissolving. He spoke of God as al-batin, the hidden, and as zahir, the manifest. That which is concealed is also that which reveals. And so, the self you hide behind may be the very veil that keeps you from what is real. You are not your emotions, not your thoughts, not your memories. You are not your victories or your failures. You are the witnessing, the awareness behind the motion, and the more you identify with the passing, the more distant you become from the eternal. But when you stop running from the silence, when you finally sit with yourself, stripped of all your masks, you may hear something else entirely, not a voice of judgment, not fear, but the soft echo of the one who placed himself inside you and has been waiting for you to turn inward. There is no need to destroy the ego. It is not your enemy. It is simply a reflection that forgot it was not the source. Ibn Arabi did not ask us to wage war on the self, but to refine it, to polish the mirror until only the face of God remains, to stop saying I as if it belongs to us, and start saying it as an echo of the one who said, I am. So let the masks fall, let the old names burn away. You are not the roles you've played, not the wounds you carry, not the pride you protect. You are the silence that holds them all. And in that silence, God speaks. You are not your ego, you are a doorway. And the moment you stop mistaking the frame for the view, you may finally see what was looking through your eyes all along. If this message stirred something within you, don't just listen. Remember, subscribe to Heart's Whisper and walk with us beyond the self, into the silence where the real is waiting.